0051 local time. Steel settles into motion. Boots stop halfway through a step. The forward gun mount gives off a low hum as power comes online. Condition 3. All key stations manned. No one asks for clarification. None is necessary. Inside the Combat Information Center, the surface picture changes at once. 8 fresh contacts appear across the scope, evenly spaced and approaching from different quadrants. Their tracks steady, then begin to tighten. Speed starts climbing. 1 knot, then 2, then more. The pattern is too exact to be accidental. It never is. Up on the bridge, the ship stays on course, steady, lawful, predictable. Ahead, the sea is calm and bright, the kind of morning that seems to reveal everything. The officer of the deck checks the repeater, then lifts his eyes back to the horizon. No one needs to shout. The captain doesn't need to. Surface report, 8 surface contacts. Profiles consistent with warships. CPA decreasing. 8. The number carries weight. Not because it sounds dramatic, but because it signals planning, coordination, purpose. The radar watch calls out bearings. The plotter marks lines that no longer point straight at the ship, but begin curving inward, shaping an arc that slowly starts to close. A distant outer screen, a nearer inner group moving ahead, a box taking form one piece at a time. The ship gives nothing back. Course unchanged. Speed unchanged. Bridge-to-bridge calls go out over international guard frequencies. Calm, formal, recorded. The message is short, exact, repeated twice. No answer comes back, not even a routine acknowledgement. At sea, silence speaks for itself. Below deck, systems come alive one after another. The 5-inch mount turns a few degrees, no more than needed, just enough to be noticed. The close-in weapon system uncages and follows the motion, not locking, only observing. Electronic support measures begin logging emissions as the contacts adjust their radar settings. Search patterns sharpen. Sweep behavior changes. Every detail gets a timestamp. CPA drops below 5 miles. Then the speed rises again. All 8 contacts accelerate together, tightening the circle. On the surface camera feeds, their wakes stretch longer across the water, white scars angling in from multiple directions. This is no longer distant shadowing. Shadowing keeps space. This is pressure. A junior watchstander swallows hard and keeps reading the data. Contact Sierra 2-1 increasing to 28 knots. 28 knots is not drift. It is a decision. The ship answers with discipline. No turn, no burst of speed, no dramatic display. The American hull continues forward at an even pace, engine steady. The restraint shows in the stillness, hands steady, eyes fixed on instruments, voices brief and controlled. On the bridge wing, binoculars rise. Through the glass, shapes begin to sharpen. Long hulls, forward mounts, sensor masts, unmistakably military silhouettes. The camera zooms tighter. Hull numbers ripple in the heat haze. Flags still can't be made out. CPA 3.2 miles. Now time begins to compress. Each update arrives closer than the last. The captain steps forward, not to seize control, but to watch more closely. He studies the plot, the arcs, the converging tracks. He has seen this kind of geometry before. Not in this place, not on this day. But the mathematics of intent are always the same. Another hail is sent, again, no reply. Then the identification comes in, quiet and matter-of-fact. Bridge CIC, contacts positively identified as Russian Navy. No visible reaction, no commentary. The information is logged and absorbed, the way professionals handle confirmation of what the data had already been saying. 8 Russian warships, multiple bearings, rising speed, decreasing distance. The outer line maintains separation. The inner group keeps pressing, tightening the arc. One vessel angles toward the bow, not enough to compel a maneuver, but enough to send a message, enough to probe. Still, the ship stays on track. CPA 2.1 miles. To anyone outside the moment, the ocean looks unchanged. Sunlight, open water, one gray hull moving ahead. But on the scopes and displays, intent is getting sharper. The line between presence and provocation can shrink to tenths of a mile. On the flight deck, a helicopter crew begins spinning up. Not as a threat, but to gain eyes on the scene. Sensors are checked. Cameras go live. Every second is captured. Not for spectacle, but for the record. Captain contacts maintaining closure. He gives a single nod. Maintain course. The order is level and unhurried. 8 ships, 1 path ahead. No rounds fired, no escalation in warnings, only speed and geometry pressing inward. The box is nearly complete. On the plot, the arcs tighten again. Now the shape is unmistakable. The 8 tracks move with discipline. No drifting, no hesitation. The outer line steadies at distance, pacing the ship's movement. Inside it, 4 hulls advance in pairs, offset just enough to deny an easy lane through. Containment without contact, pressure without a single shot. CPA 1.8 miles. The voice delivering it is flat, procedural. The number itself is not. The bridge stays quiet. The ship does not turn. Speed remains constant. To alter either would be to answer pressure with motion, and motion is exactly what the box is meant to provoke. The captain shifts his gaze from the repeater to the horizon and back again. He is measuring patience, not bravery. Another hail goes out. Same wording, same calm cadence, same result, nothing. Down in CIC, electronic support measures refine the picture further. Russian radars move from wide area search to narrower sweeps. Not fire control, not yet, but closer than before. Every emission is logged. Every shift is marked to the second. This is not performance. This is documentation. Contact Sierra 11 crossing our bow, port to starboard. The surface camera catches it. Gray steel moving laterally across the frame, wake cutting hard through the water. The pass is close enough to register through the deck itself, close enough for sailors topside to pick out antenna arrays with the naked eye. Not an impact course, a message. The American response says nothing out loud. The 5-inch mount slews slightly, just enough for optics to record it. The CIWS follows the crossing track with mechanical precision. No luck, no warning tone, just posture. And posture is enough. CPA 1.4 miles. 2 Russian ships accelerate together, pushing farther into the inner arc. Their wakes lengthen again, speed rising beyond what would pass for ordinary escorting. 26 knots, 27. The sea around them starts breaking harder now. It is a subtle overcommitment, but unmistakable. On the bridge, a junior officer grips the chart table for half a second, then lets go. Training takes hold. Breathe. Observe. Report. Surface, confirmed. Inner element speed, confirmed. 2 contacts increasing. Outer screen holding. The box is nearly closed. The helicopter crew gets the signal. Engines spin up. Not rushed, but deliberate. The aircraft isn't there to intimidate. It's there to observe. It lifts smoothly, moves forward into the clear morning air, and settles into a steady orbit off the ship's beam. Sensors come online one by one. The sea below sharpens into precise lines, heat signatures, clean contrast. From above, the pattern is impossible to miss. 8 hulls spaced with intent, forming a moving enclosure. One of the ships edges closer, angling toward the starboard quarter. CPA drops again. 1.1 miles. That number carries weight on the bridge. The captain leans slightly forward, not to act, but to witness the moment. He knows this phase. Everyone here does. Pressure is meant to provoke. When it doesn't, it intensifies. The key is to let it reveal its limits first. Another vessel crosses the bow, this time a bit farther out, but faster. The wake gives it away. Speed always comes at a cost. Control starts to slip. From the helicopter, the camera tightens. Bridge windows, deck layout, crew movement. A hand gripping a rail. Faces begin to take shape. Heat signatures glow through glass. The footage is sharp, stabilized, undeniable. Contacts adjusting formation, CIC reports. Inner element losing alignment. It's subtle, barely visible, but it's there. The outer line hesitates, drops half a knot, then recovers. The inner pair reacts a fraction too late. The formation expands, then tightens again. That brief expansion is the first flaw. The American ship doesn't change. Same course, same speed. No escalation, no signals beyond presence. CPA 0.9 miles. Less than a mile now. For a moment, it seems like the pressure might hold, like the enclosure might fully close. Then one ship reduces speed just a bit too much. Another compensates too late. The arcs begin to waver, not enough to break, enough to expose timing. The captain straightens slightly. Log everything. Already done. From above, the helicopter widens its orbit, keeping all 8 vessels in view. Below, the ship continues forward, calm, exact. The structure is still there, but no longer perfect. And at sea, precision is everything. Altitude changes perspective. From 500 feet up, the ocean becomes geometry. Lines, angles, distances stripped down to pure relationships. The helicopter holds a controlled orbit. Not aggressive, not distant, just present. Sensors layer in. Optical, infrared, range finding. Every frame stamped, every bearing recorded. Below, the formation hesitates again. Air asset on station, the pilot reports, steady and routine. On the screen, details sharpen further. Bow waves flare bright. Exhaust heat blooms along the stacks. Movements on deck flicker as brief flashes against cooler steel. The camera remains smooth, locked, impartial. The inner group adjusts again. Too late. 2 ships drift slightly out of position, then push hard to recover. Contact Sierra 3, reducing speed. CIC calls. Confirm. Confirmed. Down 2 knots. 2 knots sounds small. In tight maneuvering, it changes everything. The helicopter shifts laterally, widening the frame to keep all 8 ships visible. No aggressive passes, no sudden moves, just observation. A brief pulse from the laser lands on bridge windows, not as a threat, but as a marker. Clear, unmistakable. We see you. The response begins to fracture. 3 ships hold steady, maintaining pressure. 2 ease back slightly, their wakes shortening. Another keeps speed but drifts wider, opening a narrow stretch of water that wasn't there before. The outer line continues pacing, unchanged. Contacts no longer uniform, the aircrew notes. On the bridge, the captain watches the same feed. No reaction, no commentary. He's waiting for intent to turn into a mistake. A radar sweep tightens, brushing toward the helicopter. Not a lock, not yet. The electronic warfare console logs it automatically. Frequency, strength, duration. Evidence builds quietly. CPA holding at 0.8. Holding, but strained. One ship pushes forward again, trying to restore the arc. It accelerates sharply, its wake stretching longer than the others. That move forces a correction, and that correction forces another. From above, the pattern ripples. Clear and visible. From below, it's felt. Subtle vibration through the deck. Engines working harder, speeds no longer matching cleanly. The American ship remains unchanged. Same heading, same speed, a fixed point in a shifting equation. The helicopter tightens its orbit slightly. Cameras zoom deeper. Hull numbers become readable. Antennas, mounts, structural details, all captured. This isn't intimidation, it's documentation. Bridge, air, inner element showing instability. 2 ships correcting late. The captain gives a single nod. Below, 1 vessel crosses behind the stern, closer than before. Not unsafe, but closer than standard practice would allow. The CIWS tracks smoothly, following the movement without locking. The main gun remains still, visible, deliberate. No alarms rise, no voices change. The formation tries to compress again. This time, it doesn't hold. 1 ship reduces speed too sharply, another overshoots. The arc bends just for a moment, breaking the clean curve they've maintained since the beginning. Water opens, a narrow lane, but unmistakable. From above, the helicopter catches it instantly. On the monitor, it stands out like a fracture. "Captain," CIC says quietly, "gap forming, starboard forward." The captain leans in slightly, eyes fixed on the display. "Maintain course." The ship continues forward, unchanged. Not exploiting the opening, just letting the geometry speak. The other ships react, trying to close the space. But corrections take time, and time here is measured in distance. The helicopter widens again, holding the full picture. 8 vessels, 1 steady track, 1 growing inconsistency. The enclosure still exists, but now it's working harder to hold together. That gap shouldn't be there. Formations like this are designed to remove options, to compress movement until only 2 remain, comply or escalate. For minutes, everything has held. Tight arcs, matched speeds, disciplined spacing. But discipline demands energy, focus, precision, and it only takes 1 small misstep to break it. Gap holding, CIC reports, starboard forward. 2 cables and widening. 2 cables sound small. In open water, it changes everything. From above, the helicopter locks onto the opening. The gap is narrow, unstable, but real. 1 ship surges forward, pushing hard to close it. Its bow digs in, wake flaring bright. Another reacts too late, drifting wide to avoid getting too close. The arc distorts again. On the bridge, the captain remains still. He lets the moment develop. The ship holds its line, straight as a ruler across the water. No increase in speed, no turn, no signal. The discipline is complete. The message is written in geometry. CPA increasing on 2 contacts. Increasing means the pressure is slipping. The response comes in fragments, not as one. 1 vessel eases back, trying to regain spacing. Another pushes too far and overshoots. A third hesitates, caught between both. The formation expands, then snaps back unevenly. The precision that created it is now working against itself. The helicopter shifts slightly, keeping the opening centered in frame. Cameras continue rolling. Infrared shows engines working harder than planned. Heat signatures rising with every correction. Every second is recorded. "Captain, inner element losing cohesion," CIC reports. A single nod. The ship moves forward, unchanged. 1 vessel turns sharply, trying to reclaim control of the gap. It's too late. The turn doesn't match the speed. The wake reveals it before the helm does. It has 2 options, close dangerously or pull away. It pulls away. That decision changes everything. The moment it breaks off, the opening widens. Another vessel, now out of position, slows to avoid crossing paths. The outer group keeps its distance but no longer drives pressure inward. The clean geometry collapses into a chain of corrections. From the air, it's obvious. From the surface, it feels like tension releasing. CPA increasing across the formation. Confirmed. The ship continues into the opening. Same heading, same speed. It doesn't rush. It simply proceeds, letting the space move around it. The shift is subtle and absolute. The response fragments further. Two ships move outward to reset spacing. One lingers, uncertain. Another reduces speed sharply, its wake shrinking. The enclosure is gone. Not from force, but from hesitation. The helicopter maintains a wide orbit, documenting the separation. No new signals, no escalation, just observation. On the bridge, the captain exhales once. Not relief, just confirmation. The ships begin to fall back into shadowing positions. Distance opens gradually. 3 miles, 4, 5. The pressure fades, replaced by parallel movement and cautious spacing. No warnings, no declarations. Maintain log, the captain says quietly. The ship continues exactly as it had from the beginning. Same course, same speed, same silence. Behind it, the formation spreads out, no longer unified. The earlier coordination undone by a single miscalculation. Not dramatic, not reckless, just enough. From above, the final images settle in. 8 ships no longer closing, no longer aligned. The record is complete. The mistake wasn't the approach. The mistake was assuming pressure alone would force movement from a ship that refused to react. The ocean returns to stillness, not instantly, but gradually. Distance stretches out in clean increments. The radar picture smooths as arcs dissolve into parallel tracks. 8 ships remain visible, present, watching, but no longer pressing. Contacts increasing range, CIC reports. Formation dispersed. No reaction on the bridge. This is the expected outcome. The helicopter widens its orbit one last time, capturing the full scene as separation becomes undeniable. Hulls settle into safe distances. Wakes shorten, speeds normalize. No gestures, no signals, just steel returning to routine. Air asset return to ship. Roger. The helicopter banks smoothly, climbing as it turns back. Systems power down in sequence. Footage is already stored, backed up, preserved. Nothing will be shaped for effect. It will remain exactly as recorded. On the surface, the ship continues forward, unchanged from the first moment of contact. No deviation, no acknowledgement. The captain watches the horizon as the last vessel drifts farther away. No speech beyond what's needed. Secure condition 3 when ready. The order moves quietly through the ship. Systems step down. Equipment powers off. Sailors resume what they were doing as if nothing had interrupted them. To an outside observer, it would seem uneventful. To those on board, it was precise. Inside CIC, the work continues. It always does. Tracks are reviewed, emissions analyzed, distance calculations checked again and again. The exact point where the formation broke is marked and compared across systems. No commentary needed. One watchstander says it quietly, almost to himself. They lost alignment before they lost distance. He's right. At sea, pressure only works if it remains exact. The moment it needs correction, it begins to weaken. The ship didn't break the formation. It waited for the formation to break itself. Outside, the ocean looks the same as it did earlier. Flat, bright, indifferent. The sun climbs higher. Wind draws faint lines across the surface. No trace remains of what just unfolded. The ships stay nearby for a while, holding distance now. Careful, measured, their spacing clean, their speed controlled. The message has been delivered without a word. No transmissions, no statements, no need. Everything that matters is already recorded. The ship continues its mission exactly as planned before the first contact appeared. That continuity is the point. Presence without escalation, control without display, restraint used with precision. This is how modern naval power is measured. Not by noise, but by decisions not taken. Later, far from the water, the review will be simple. 8 ships applied pressure. 1 ship held steady. The structure failed. No shots, no aggressive maneuvers. Just time, distance, and control. On the bridge, the watch rotates. Fresh eyes take over. The ship moves on, another gray hull cutting a clean path through open water as it has countless times before. Out here, nothing is announced. It's recorded, and then the sea erases the moment, leaving only a fading wake and the quiet proof of what happens when pressure meets patience. And patience holds.